Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
Hope everybody is having a phenomenally awesome day out there today.
Indeed.
So, before we get going, just want to encourage everybody to subscribe both channels, click the little bell. Hopefully, you get some notifications. If not, we will pretty much I'd say 360 maybe days of the year. We will have a video up on either EEARTS or on Evolutionary, and most days we'll have videos up on both. And so we're going to talk about something that maybe isn't talked about a lot, but it is one of those fascinating subjects. And that is Mount Kailash. And in case you are not familiar with this is one big bleeping mountain.
It's huge.
It's over 21,000 feet tall. 21,000 feet tall. And let's just jump over to Google Earth and you could see it here. So this is basically in Tibet, and unfortunately now this is an area that is controlled by China, and we got the world upside down here. No, it hasn't gone through a pole shift yet, but who knows when that's coming. Well, maybe another 20 years or so. What's fascinating about this is just the history. There's so many odd phenomena associated with it. And here we see Dr. Mamata Singh tweeting this: astonishing revelations, rows of stone sculptures up to 250 feet high discovered at Kailash. One of the foreign nationals has made an interesting video of thousands of year old Kailash Parvat using Google Earth with unbelievable visuals. The mystery remains unsolved. So he went and he looked and blew up, and unfortunately right now it's so snow covered you can't see any details, but he blew up a particular base of this what looks to be a gigantic pyramid, and you can see like these carvings on the outside. Maybe it takes a little imagination and maybe it doesn't, but I'll give you guys the link so you can see. Like right here he says this is a tall being with the hands in front of the face, kind of bending over, smaller being, maybe a child right here, other statues. And this is again 250 feet is what Google Earth shows the height is here. This also is a lower layer which does look kind of like some steps and maybe openings, entrances in. This he's estimating at about 50 feet in height. It's interesting, yes, but really, if you go deep into this, some say that you can see Shiva's face on it. Now, Shiva is, again, one of the major gods of the Hindu pantheon, as many are familiar with the concept of the Trinity of Hinduism, with Brahma being the creator, Vishnu being the preserver, and then Shiva being the destroyer. And that's really destroyer of the illusion. What's the illusion? The separateness of all things. And the fact that life is but a dream. Yes, we are perhaps all personas in this dream of source.
Yes, I mean, it's one big soup that's forever growing and expanding, and we're learning from each other and finding things of all kinds.
Absolutely. 6,638 meters, 21,778 feet tall. It's an imposing spectacle, and it has a certain vibration to it. And so one of the other interesting things is it's right next to these two lakes, which are actually the source of four major, very long Asian rivers, including the Indus. And the history all about it, there are traditions that say Shiva himself lived here with Parvati and their children, Ganesha and Kartikeya. Now, there's other legends that say that, no, not physically lived here, but some believe he did physically live here. And so we see in the Ramayana, it's said that Ravana, who was the demon that had basically kidnapped Sita, and Rama and Hanuman went and rescued her over in Lanka, which is Sri Lanka, and created that bridge to get over to rescue her. with Hanuman's monkey army, which really, in many ways, feels more like an army of big feet in some ways.
Right. Beings that we might not really understand too much here.
Exactly. Well, Ravana is kind of he's an asura, which you can equate to somebody that's, dark or quote unquote demonic. But not really a demon in the way that people basically in the Judeo-Christian sense view a demon, or what I would call a demon. But yet a being that is all about service to self. Let's just leave it at that. So in the Ramayana, it said that Ravana attempted to uproot the Mount Kailash as a retaliation to Lord Shiva, who in turn pressed his right big toe on the mountain, trapping Ravana in between. This version of Lord Shiva is also referred to as Ravanugraha, or favor form to Ravana while seated in Mount Kailash. According to the Mahabharata, it is said that the Pandava brothers, along with their wife Draupadi, tracked to the summit of Mount Kailash on their path to liberation, as it's considered to be a gateway to heaven, also known as Swargaloka. According to Charles Allen, one description in the Vishnu Purana of the mountain states that the four faces are made of crystal, ruby, gold, and lapis lazuli. It is a pillar of the world and located in the heart of 6 mountain ranges, symbolizing a lotus. And it's interesting that it's totally revered and viewed as sacred in more than one major religion: Jainism, Hinduism, Buddhism, as well as the Bon tradition. And many people make a pilgrimage there, and they try to circle the mountain, which is 32 miles of extreme hiking in one day. And that is most definitely challenging, also given the height. So that's something that some actually do in one day's time, which is kind of an amazing thing. Geologically, it's interesting because it's also thought to be having a massive granite base there that it's upon. And it's been thought to be utterly unclimbable. And as far as we know, nobody has officially climbed it. There are some legends of certain monks that have climbed it, but nothing that's ever been verified. It's fascinating, but part of the mystery there is it a man-made pyramid? Many people think it is a man-made pyramid, and Russian researchers accept that Mount Kailash isn't a mountain. It's way too perfect and symmetrical. And then, of course, we talked about who lives there. How about this part? Regular change in position. The reason people can't reach the top of the mountain is that the mountain keeps changing it keeps on changing position. Despite the fact that numerous individuals attempted to climb this, however, every one of the treks to the summit has been fruitless up to this modern time. Trekkers would, out of the blue, move in the opposite direction or would witness bad weather conditions which forces them to descend, many of whom never return. Mystery geographical measurement. Ancient Vedas and other holy texts refer to it as the cosmic axis or the center of the world, and the stairway to paradise. The Google Maps vouch for the legitimacy of this reality. It's accepted to give an association between the earth and the heaven, between the physical world and the spiritual world. And then those 2 lakes that are by it, they're thought to be the good and the evil lakes. People say that Kailash stands between these two, indicating that humans have both sides and there isn't any external evil to us. We are the evil. Another interesting factor is that Manasovar is a freshwater lake and Rakash Tal is a saltwater lake. Isn't that curious? And they're right next to each other. I mean, you could see these lakes as we zoom in. And then I know there's got to be somebody that, I lost Google Earth. There we are. Okay. There's got to be somebody that says, hey, the Earth isn't a globe. It's flat. Well, as far as this hologram goes, okay, there you can see the lakes. This hologram apparently is basically spherical. So, interesting stuff, for sure. This one's really interesting. It is said that who climbs Mount Kailash is going to age quickly. That time that humans take to age, 2 weeks, only takes 12 hours in the mountain. Numerous hikers have detailed that they feel like their nails and hair were developing rapidly in hours. Isn't that interesting? There's a shadow of a swastika. Now, the swastika tilted on its side is a symbol that the Nazi Germans used. But the original symbol comes out of Hinduism, and it's a positive symbol. So it is said that when the sun's setting at certain times, the mountain's said to cast a shadow, which gives a likeness of a swastika. And there's also the likeness of the Om symbol as well. And then trekking all the way up to the summit of Mount Kailash is held to be a forbidden act among Hindus for fear of intruding into the sanctity of the mountain and disturbing the divine energies residing in the peak. However, as per Tibetan lore, once a monk named Milarepa scaled up to the top of the peak, and when he returned, he forewarned everyone not to dare to bother God. Ooh, interesting, is it not? And Gauri Kund is also known as the Lake of Compassion, a water body. This lake is famous as Parvati Sarovar, where goddess Parvati had procured her child Ganesha. That's supposedly where she gave birth to Ganesha, but not in a traditional sense. She actually created him, very much like we think of creating Adam out of the earth. It's the same legend, basically, with Parvati doing the same. And interesting, really, to think about some of these legends. So there's other legends, too. And I got links for you guys to look at it and see what you think. When you look at that, do you think that's natural? It looks very much like a pyramid. Look to the Great Pyramid and look over in Mexico and the Yucatan at the pyramids there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I buy that that's natural. It doesn't really feel natural. And so the mystery remains unsolved. And again, I'll give you guys all the links. And, this is interesting too, because this gets into the Russians and their expeditions there. And again, coming to the conclusion, this is not natural. This is not natural. And what is it that you get with this?
Mm-hmm. When you talk about it and I look at it, first of all, what I see inside are these tubes. There's like these almost like glass tubes. And if you look at it when it's functioning, when it was working, it was a spaceship. This is a ship. And it was ran by consciousness. And that's something that many people won't understand or accept, because I don't think we understand thought and how powerful thought is. When you talk about the people who want to come and actually circle it and do a full circle just to be around the energy of it, they have ancestral DNA somehow tied into this, and they can feel the energy that it possessed at some point when it was functioning here. So this is a very powerful thing that I think we have very little understanding of. The guides are also telling me that many monks and many very famous gurus have the ability to go and see this with their energy body. They can actually go in with their energy body and go and explore. Many do and many have, but not in, of course, you can't go in a physical sense because it's not something that we really understand in this dimension. It's a dimensional shifting type of a situation. So when people try to climb it, the guides were telling me that it purposefully does not allow people. So it has its own consciousness. It purposefully will not allow people up there. So that was really interesting while you were talking about that. All of that came through.
Are there also entrances into inner earth, as some say that this is also an entrance into Shambhala and the inner earth societies that we've heard of in legend?
There is a tie into inner earth. It's like at the very dead center, and it's a formation that does allow beings to go in and out. It's not currently being used, but they do say at some point it will be reopened and it will be reused, and this ship will move again when we are at that point in life where things have changed enough and the energies will be advantageous for this thing to take flight again. But right now in the 3D at the density we're at, it cannot function the way it did.
Do we have to wait for all the way to 5th density, or just even getting to 4th density would be possible?
They're telling me that it can start functioning more like in 4th density, but actually as a 5th density, it is what it came here with, and they realized as the densities are falling, this thing can no longer function, so it's just basically stuck here.
Huh. Interesting to say the least. Fascinating about the inner earth. So who brought this here in the first place? And so this came was it during the last golden age, or was it in the much farther back golden age?
I was getting a much further back, and it's like you can say it's a kingly type energy. It is like a Shiva creator God type of energy, and when I say that, I just mean beings that we don't understand that use energies, and they do create with them. So this is something that's extremely ancient. I doubt we would find a whole lot in our books. I don't, unless you can get into the Vatican, we're not going to find the details about that.
Are these the blue beings that we've seen before, or something different?
They're showing me these beings are golden. They're golden, of a different value.
Are they more like light beings, golden? I guess golden, shining ones, like the legends speak of.
That's what I'm getting at. Golden being a very high vibration, that they do come here, and actually coming here to help this world that we live on now, help teach others and help provide support and understanding for life to function here on this new planet.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for all the information from the guides, Cindy. We appreciate it, and I look forward to your guys' comments. What do you guys think about this? Do you think it's just a geological formation, nothing to see here, or do you think there's something much, much more to it? As always, guys, thanks for your support on Patreon and Ko-Fi. We couldn't do it without you. Do check out Medicinal Foods. Make sure to use coupon code EEA at checkout. Get a discount, and lots of good stuff. Again, boost your immune system. Everybody needs that in these times. Much love. God bless, and namaste.
Namaste.